Hi, Brooke Boon with Holy Yoga. Welcome to another daily devotional. Today we're in Colossians again in the message. As we were kind of discussing what should we talk about or what should I talk about, and I was having conversation with some of the core team, and we were laughing because this this chapter in Colossians in the message, chapter 3, is really a lot about humility. And we were laughing because as much as I think we'd like to say that we're so humble and we're content to be just absolutely second place, I think that our flesh reminds us that that's not entirely true all the time. And maybe you can relate to that. But I'd like to just encourage you with a word from the Lord today. And we're just going to read scripture today, again from the message. And it's in Colossians 3, verse 12. Know that we're talking about humility, and I've got this permagrin on my face because I'm pretty sure we're not the only ones that struggle with it. So maybe you can relate. In verse 12, chapter 3, Colossians, from the message, it says this: "So, chosen by God for this new life of love, dress in the wardrobe God picked out for you: compassion and kindness, humility, quiet strength, and discipline. Be even-tempered, content with second place, quick to forgive an offense. Forgive as quickly and completely as the Master has forgiven you. And regardless of what else you put on, wear love. It's your basic, all-purpose garment. Never be without it." I think that when our pride sets itself up against, or it tells us that we're due something, that we are due a reward of notice, of praise, of thanksgiving, oftentimes, where we go and we do and we give, and our pride says, you should have gotten some reward from that. Someone should have thanked you. You probably should have gotten some money for that. God says, be even-tempered, content with second place. Earlier in the scriptures, earlier in chapter 3, he says, be content with obscurity. Serve from a space simply that says, I give because I can. That is completely counter to our flesh and completely counter to our pride. And God says, that's what I'm looking for. If you clothe yourself in the garments that I have given you, and you literally have to turn away from the flesh. Let's get real. It's not an easy decision. It's not natural. If it's natural, we wouldn't need Jesus. It's not natural. We have to turn from that which we think we deserve, what our pride tells us that we deserve, and we need to turn to what it is that God is asking for us. And he's asking us just to be clothed in the righteousness of who he is. That means taking second place. That means being content to be obscure in the covering of the Lord. Because if we're not content to be obscure, and we're not content to be second place, that means we're always in fight. We're always in competition with the Lord. If we want the Lord to reign in our lives, we have got to take second seat. So he says, be content with being second place. Be humble. Clothe yourself in that which I've given you, that sets itself up against your pride, your entitlement, your truth, in light of his truth, his garments. It says, above all else, wear love. We talked earlier this week in our meditations about the interior experience with God, how that shapes and forms our external experience with God and with people. And so what God is saying is, really here, clothe yourself in the love that I've given you. Get comfortable in the skin of my love on you. Don't leave home without that. And then all of the rest of it will start to fall into place. So, if you feel you're due something today, if you feel as though your children owe you something, or your husband owes you something, or your boss, they didn't really see how great you did, be content with being obscure. Be okay with being second place. And know that the Lord your God, the master and maker, the author and perfecter of your faith, has seen you. And he values you. And he is always enough. Have an awesome day today. www.holyyoga.net. We'll see you next time.